Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take notice to how frequently these low birth rate stories are coming out now. This one came out in the Wall Street Journal. If you think they weren't afraid of what's going on, you better think again. There's a lot of fear over, especially the groups that are heavily impacted by this birth rate just plummeting, especially here in America. So this came out May 15th, 2019 in the Wall Street Journal. U.S. births fall to lowest rates since 1980s. Births in the U.S. have declined in 10 of the last 11 years since peaking in 2007. Wow. The number of babies born in the US last year fell to a 32-year low, deepening a fertility slump that is reshaping America's future workforce. About 3.79 million babies were born in the United States in 2018, according to provisional data from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention's National Center for Health Statistics. That was a 2% decline from the previous year and marked the fourth year in a row that the number fell. The general fertility rate, the number of births per 1,000 women ages 15 to 44, fell to 59.0, the lowest since the start of federal record keeping. With the latest decline, births in the U.S. have fell in 10 of the last 11 years since peaking in 2007, just before the recession. Many demographers believe that births would rebound as the economy recovered, but that trend hasn't materialized, and it won't. It won't. It's not going to happen. So you can see the baby bust. U.S. births in the U.S. have fallen 10 of the last 11 years after peaking in 2007, just before the recession. And you can see how it's impacting every generation. Now, the greatest generation, those are your people. These folks are practically gone. World War II, baby boomers, and that's going to be real significant with the baby boomers dying, especially over the next 25 years. And you have the Generation X, the millennials, and there's a lot of complaints about them not having babies, as well as the Generation Z. And you see the big slump here. Well, when you look at this chart, it's really true. Their baby boomers are their last biggest population here, and they are elderly. Not good. Instead, experts say the continuing declines appear to be rooted in several trends, including teenagers and unmarried women having fewer babies, lower Hispanic fertility rates, and the rise in women obtaining college degrees. The decline has important implications for the U.S. economy and workforce. The total fertility rate, an estimate of the number of babies a woman would have over her lifetime, has generally remained below the replacement level of 2.1 since 1971. Wow. So the U.S. has been below replacement rate since 1971, and we are just hearing this now. Wow. A fertility rate falling further below replacement level means that without enough immigrants, the US could see a population declines and a workforce too small to support a growing segment of retirees. And you are talking about less money circulating through the economy, even for retail. So, everybody, you got to look at this um, as if it is going to impact everybody, y'all, because if it's less money circulating, that means it's less money for your utility companies, for your supermarkets, for all of your retail businesses. I mean, housing, everything is going to be impacted because you don't have a lot of people anymore circulating the same cash flow as they are now. It's going to be far less money circulating through the US. I mean, how much inflating are they going to do? It's already completely unaffordable to even be here. So I guess everything, you probably won't be able to find a house on the market that's less than 250 on up. I mean, and that's not going to really work. That's not going to save America with a small population here. Okay, so last year it fell to 1.7, a record low. That figure remains higher than the rate in parts of Asia and Europe. Well, China pretty much screwed themselves over. They're not going to rebound from what they did with that one child rule. In Europe, they've been in the dump. Look, I was in Europe and I stayed there for a while, y'all, and the stories were coming out even back in the 90s about the falling birth rates in Europe. So, Europe, it's been going on for many decades. The total fertility rate in Japan is about 1.4. In Germany, it is 1.6. And in Italy, it is 1.3, according to estimates from the World Bank. Birth rates by age. Younger and unmarried women have seen the largest fertility declines in recent years, while rates for those in their 30s or who are married are generally increased. The drop has been particularly dramatic among teens 15 to 19. Yeah, I don't see a lot of teenagers walking around pregnant like I used 2 years ago. I don't see that. Where the birth rate fell 7% last year to 17.4 births per thousand women. That figure is down 72% from a peak of 61.8 in 1991. In 2018, only women ages 35 to 44 saw an increase in birth rates, while rates for all other age groups declined or remained the same. Youth drives decline. Lower birth rates among women in their teens and early 20s are fueling the overall decline. So they show you the chart right here, 30 to 34, and wow, who thought it would be that way, where the older women would be having more babies than the younger women? Boy, talk about an upside down world. We see these continuing trends. Births to older moms increasing, births to younger moms going down, said Bradley Hamilton, a statistician, demographer with NCHS, who co-wrote the report. The trend suggests that a decline in unplanned pregnancies is a big part of America's lower fertilities. Research led Casey Buckles, an associate professor of economics at the University of Notre Dame, found that about 35% of the fertility decline from 2007 to 2016 is because of declines in pregnancies that were likely unintended. Wow. Waiting longer as women delay babies, they also end up having fewer of them. Yeah, because you know what happens? They're waiting, and a lot of times, by the time they're ready to have babies, they can't have any, you know. And this is why a lot of these older women are trying to run and freeze their eggs to have babies, and that really diminishes their chances even more. So you can see on this chart, birth order of child, average age of mother. Yeah, you can see that from 1968 to 2017, you can see how the ages of becoming a mother has gone up a lot. Yeah, that's a dramatic change right there. Narrowing gap, fewer Hispanic women are having children. It's really remarkable, not something that we've seen over the last century, Professor Buckle said, of the changing fertility patterns. Some of that comes from the fact that women are simply waiting longer to have children. Demographers hope that as the large millennial cohorts, which this year will be between ages 23 and 38, moves through their 30s, the birth rate will begin to rise again. It won't. It won't. It won't, y'all. They're hoping for this, but I'm telling you, it's not going to happen. Millennials are not even out here buying homes like the generations before them. They're not getting married either. Go look up the articles that talk about millennials not even getting married. They don't want marriage. And, you know, they're telling you they don't want marriage. They don't want children. They just want to work on their careers. And that's exactly what's happening. And see, America, you can blame your the policies for families in America are horrible. You get to spend only 6 weeks with your baby and then you have to go back to work. It's too soon. It's too soon. They don't even give you time to heal before you go back to work. They don't care that you need to bond with your new infant a lot longer. They don't care about that. You know, there are places that give men paternity leave when a child is born. But in America, they got all these harsh um, family policies in place. And people are like, well, shit, I'd rather just stay home and raise my child. They don't do anything to support you as you're raising your child. If companies want to do something for people, give people more time off after they have babies. And on top of that, as the child is growing, have policies in place that help the family. You can give employees with families a little advantage over the ones that are single. Put childcare in place. Give them some vouchers for childcare. You can help out in many ways, but you choose not to. You can clearly tell a man wrote the policies because they are terrible. They're terrible family policies in America. I worked with quite a few women when they had their children, they were like, "The hell with that. I'm not going back to the workforce. I'm just going to stay home and raise my child." But unfortunately, we have such an artificial society. They believe daycare and childcare should raise your kid and not the actual parent themselves. And they do absolutely nothing to help single mothers along the way either. The policies they're terrible. I remember how I felt returning back to work after having my son. I didn't feel right. I wasn't ready. I was still healing, but they want you back in the workplace in 6 weeks. That's it. That's all you get. Plenty of time. No, it isn't. There's plenty of time to a fool. I mean, many of the divorce laws and everything in America have turned people off to the point where they just don't want nothing to do with marriage and family anymore. I blame America for that, having these old shitty ass laws on the books. So anyway, but they also caution that women delay babies, they end up having fewer of them, either because their ability to conceive declines with age or because other factors, a failed marriage or a financial setback, interfere with those plans. There's a limit to how much you can delay and still catch up, Professor Buckle said. There is no way we would get complete catch up for that reason. They can't catch up, ladies and gentlemen. They are behind. Listen to me now. White people could start having a bunch of babies now and they still won't catch up because they've been behind for decades. Seriously, they've been behind for decades. So even if all of them had babies right now, they still would not catch up to the groups that did not have a decline in birth rate. Hispanic birth rates. Another factor is that Hispanic women are having fewer children. Last year, the number of births to Hispanic women fell 1% to total about 886,000. That is partly because the recession and subsequent tightening of immigration rules have slowed the flow of Hispanics into the country. It is also because of the share of America's Latino population that was born in the US has grown. About two-thirds of US Hispanics were born here, according to the Pew Research Center. And remember, Trump still wanted to get rid of the ones that were born here. He didn't give a shit that you were born here. He wanted you gone. They were looking at birth certificates and based on that, trying to get Hispanics out of here, even if they were born here. They don't care. American born Hispanics have lower fertility rates than those born in Latin America because they are more likely to assimilate to broader US norms, including wanting smaller families. You know what, ladies and gentlemen, you know why that was encouraged? It was encouraged because the group that can't have babies didn't want to see everybody out here with bigger families than them. That's really all it's a that's really what that was for. Research led by Okay, I'm just going to go down. Um, Contraceptive use, the expanded use of long acting contraceptives is another force driving down births. The 2010 Affordable Act, which extended health insurance to millions of Americans and mandated contraception coverage in plans, is one factor behind the uptick. So it's growing among women on contraceptives and dropping among births. Data from the CDC National Survey of Family Growth shows 8.6% of women using intrauterine devices in its 2015-2017 survey, up from 1.3% in 2002. Okay, so it's showing you percentage of women age 15 to 44 contraceptive. Okay, so you have female sterilization and the pill, which is, of course, the highest. And then you have male condom, intrauterine device, and male sterilization. Yeah, and you can see, it shows you the years down on the bottom of the graph. Education. Women with high levels of education have always had fewer children than those with just a high school diploma, and researchers have pointed to the uptick in women getting bachelor's degrees as one force weighing on fertility. According to the Boston College paper, 40% of women had a college education in 2016. Many economists say that that's because educated women earn more money. They are less likely to want to delay or interrupt their careers to have children, since doing so is a greater economic sacrifice. Like I said, terrible family policies, America. Recently, fertility research suggests a more complicated picture. Although college educated women still have fewer children than those with just a high school diploma, fewer of them are childless, and their fertility rates have inched up since the recession. Okay. So they're saying the stronger economic security of highly educated women may have had the opposite effect after the economic downturn and put these women in a better position to have their desired number of children. But ladies and gentlemen, I want you to notice how frequently these articles on fertility and low birth rates are coming out a lot more regularly, seeing them more often. And trust me, this is bothering the hell out of them. It really is. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.